Hello and welcome to X&Y Gaming, another Minecraft video. And in today's video, I'm going to be using footage from a free map that was released for the Java edition, while I do a diary entry style video, or DES video, over that footage. The map is in the spirit of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and it's very fitting for today's topic because the world we live in today is absolutely wild. I'm back to being unemployed thanks to a combination of my big mouth and the sensitivities of the society we find ourselves in. Now, mind you, I'm homeless, I live in my car. I would love to not be homeless, and to be able to afford a place to live. I'm all too aware that the traditional remedy for this is to get a job. I had one of those. The Golden Gate gas station is and was my favorite job I've ever had. The work was relatively easy and the pay was the best. $15 an hour may not seem like much to some people, especially if you're used to making thousands or more a week because you have an actually marketable skill. But to me, it was a ticket to being not homeless all that much sooner. Unfortunately, since I was there for a job and a paycheck and not a date or a booty call, I had to try and keep my dialogue to real NPC-friendly stuff. And when it came to talking with people or dealing with awkward customer situations, I'd make jokes. I tried to get laughs out of anyone and everyone in an attempt to raise the mood and morale and help keep things on a nice, casual level to help keep stress low. Especially when there's a lot of people queued up and you're just trying to move the line along. The art of the transaction can be gotten down to a science of only a few required prompts and questions to the customer. As for working with people, you just try to do the most things and make the overall workload easier on the team. Maybe talk with them about their life and try to just make them laugh a little. But again, unfortunately for me, I was there to do only the transactions portion and not help anyone's day be any brighter. Especially when it comes to dealing with interesting customers. I've had a lady outright yelling at me as about how it was that we wouldn't accept her damaged ID to buy smokes. Hey, did you know? When you work at a Golden Gate and someone tries to buy alcohol or tobacco, but also has a second person within their party, it's the rules of the company to require ID from both parties in order to finalize the sale. This is a safety and security measure to help ensure someone isn't buying alcohol or tobacco for a minor. Now, if a guy comes in with his girlfriend and tries to buy a tall boy a bud, we have to ID both of them. And while this is 100% considered within regular limits of my job, I was told by a customer that that was, in fact, gay. Actually, upon my inquisition, he qualified it by saying it was super gay. Now, I'm no sexologist, but I am a chronic masturbator, and it's a legitimate problem in my life and relationships. And I can confidently say that there's only one thing that would have made that interaction any level of gay, and I don't even know the guy. But, you know, he's clearly the master on gay. He knows what he's talking about, I guess. But you can't joke about it. You also can't even talk to anyone, even when you explain you're there explicitly for a paycheck and not a date. I got suspended and then fired for, quote, sexual harassment, and that, quote, the most sexually charged question was, end quote, quote, how do you like your steak? Yeah, that's right. The most innocuous question pertaining to a part of life everyone non-sexually partakes in on a hopefully daily basis is also the most sexually charged question a man can casually ask a woman. How do you like your steak? Me personally, I like mine medium rare, and I cook it alongside Gordon Ramsay in one of his How to Cook a Steak videos. It's great. What the f*** is wrong with the world? We're out here funding wars no one agrees with or cares to understand, while arguing over the most basic biology lesson. Yes, I'm gonna bitch about the whole entire trans movement too, because my life is already a travesty. Hey, how can people not understand there's a definitive difference between a man and a woman? Or, more generically, a male and a female? You get one or the other at birth and you just have to deal with it. The 500 or so genetic anomalies do not another gender make. And the whole concept of gender and roles is a societal construct anyway. Like, if you say men don't wear dresses or skirts, then the Scotsman would love to have a word with you about their traditional garb. There's a lot of instances where some societies do really dark shit, and everyone seems to ignore it. For example, In Japan, the age of consent is as low as 13, whereas everywhere else in the world, it's like around 18. In the States, the age to buy alcohol and tobacco are both now 21. Over in the Middle East, you can sell your children for money and objectively treat your women like and it's culturally accepted. I don't think it's far-fetched to say every human being should be allowed to be their own person. However, I feel like society is doing a wild disservice when it comes to being trans. I personally believe someone should be allowed to wear what they want, and unless they're hurting someone else, should be allowed to do whatever they want. I also think that there's a lot of things people should accept in their lives, and I think the junk in your trunk is exactly one of those things. It's as part of the die roll as your skin pigmentation, where you're located on the globe at birth, and who your parents are. Sure, maybe someone short wears platform shoes to add some height so they can, I don't know, feel credible or comfortable. But should you really encourage someone to get some sort of leg shortening surgery because they feel too tall? I'm a guy. I have a penis. I also have a wildly effeminate figure. I also like to use flowery smelling shampoo and shaving butters. I've fantasized several collective hours about what it would be like to be a girl, but never once have I thought to actually dress myself like one and demand everyone calls me a woman. Women weren't even taken seriously in society. Like, when voting and democracy got implemented, it took women several years later before they were even given the right to vote. Women had to fight for and had to be given the right to vote. I personally feel like women have gotten the short end enough. I personally don't see why men have to be societally allowed to parade around as a pretend woman and then also be forced to treat them like they are one. It's asinine and wildly misogynistic, and I just don't see how the rest of the world doesn't see that. Or how you would actively push someone to get a man-made, irreversible surgery just to play into this gender dysphoria that I'm pretty sure only exists to sell the procedure. Saying you were born the wrong sex is like saying you were born the wrong skin color or in the wrong year. You are born when you were born, where you were born, and as who you are. If you have a penis, guess what? You're a guy. And you probably shouldn't parade yourself as a woman when you aren't one. Just like you probably shouldn't do blackface and walk into the ghetto. And yet, society applauds this, for some reason, and tries teaching children that this is not only normal, but should have their life devoted to being something they're not, instead of encouraging people to accept the hand they're dealt. And if I was a girl, not only would I be horrible to look at, I would have been absolutely abused by my uncle. If my penis was a I'd be on a couch surrounded by 5 big buff black guys. I understand a mental illness is a big thing to deal with. I especially don't feel too well in wanting to stay alive now that I'm unemployed all over again and still have mountains of legal stuff to deal with. But, just like in today's message, you have to be able to accept certain things in your life, and my circumstances right now are one of them. Also, I might as well come out, since you can just say you are whatever you want to be and society has to go along with it, because that's just polite, then I'm coming out as a cis, white, genderless man. The name's Sissy. Sissy McGee. Thank you for watching.